No, I hate these assholes. I'm thinking about putting a life tap on the puncture because you don't hit hard enough to actually get the mana regain back. And so you have to like split shot for mana regen in between the punctures. Yo, where are all these fireballs coming from? Stupid boss mechanics. I can't hit these guys. That's dumb. They keep jumping underground in between my punctures. I mean, if you want to do that, you can, but it's a terrible decision. Flicker Strike has absolutely no need for Endless Hunger. Headsman is. Did I pass up fucking Harvest, or is it over here? Headsman is the most powerful passive in the game. Because it doesn't matter how much damage you do, it's 20% less health from the target. If the boss has 3,500, if the boss has 3.5 billion health, Headsman is 700 million damage in one hit. Nothing like it's underrated in the POBs. Like it's way underrated in the POBs. These guys are assholes. I'm like not hitting him. Y'all are seeing that, right? I don't understand. Like there's some targets like that that just the bow skills are not good at because the guy leaps to you and he's immune underground the whole time, and then when he gets to you, he immediately melees you, and then like I can't like his hitbox is weird. Yeah, I know, right? I mean, we could just stop dying. That's an option. See, like I hit him with a puncture. Like he's taking 0 damage. I don't understand what the problem is. I would take the gladiator bleed. Like if I had a choice, the bleed explosion off a glad. It's the only reason to play glad. Like I don't understand why this guy's not taking any damage. taking 0 damage. We have 20 million DPS bleeds. We can kill the boss in 1 bleed, and this guy is magically taking no damage. So confused. He takes damage. Got me. That guy died instantly. That guy died instantly. This guy is not dying. At the end of form damage, Sag will die pretty often. No one here is leveling Lightning Arrow Slayer. For sure. Oh, he leeches life, whatever. Alright, so Bleed Bow works. It's not ideal. It has some sticking points, like weird mobs like that you can't shoot from a range that are forced to melee you. It definitely works. So, Skadoosh. Lightning Arrow Slayer can work, but so you just saw a bow build. So that was Bleed Bow. And Bleed Bow just has some issues with survivability. Lightning Arrow Slayer Bow is going to have some issues with survivability. I mean, we're tanky. We've got almost 4k health. We're element immune. We have 7k, 8k armor, 10k evasion with flasks up. We've got endurance charges. Like there's a lot of defenses, but Bleed Bow or any bow slayer is gonna be squish. Now, for damage, we just have to look at your character and see what you're doing for damage. But I mean, there's not gonna be a lot of just damage in Act 4. You're probably better off just using, like, if you want to level, use Splitting Steel with a one-hander and a shield. And make sure you have life and armor and resistances. Oh, whose guide are you following? Well, I don't have Lightning Arrow. I think you mean Lightning Strike Slayer. Yeah, okay. Switch over to Spectral Throw. Just use Spectral Throw instead of Lightning Strike. And while you're leveling, the 3 most important things that you can get on your gear are life, resistances, and armor. get life, resistances, and armor. And then just find a weapon that has some elemental damage on it. Yeah, Chicken, what is your account name? Make sure you're using Sniper's Mark II. Sniper's Mark is a huge, massive damage bonus. So any target that doesn't die instantly, you need to be Sniper's Marking. Alright, so you got a Rebuke, Peril's Fur, Darkrai Vectors, Cat, Taming Carnage. Magnate is not really very good, but I guess it's fine for now. You need you need to not use Sulfur Flask here. Life Flask and Hybrid Flask is fine. Quicksilver Flask is fine here. But you need to use a Silver Flask here. So here, I'll tell you why. So, yeah, Magnate's fine. So Sorrow of the Divine gives you 2 million DPS. Just a random Silver Flask gives you the same amount of DPS, and then it doesn't have the penalty of the... You don't have any way to generate charges on it. And you don't have any energy shield to benefit from it. And so Silver Flask is going to be a much better solution for you. You get more move speed. You get the ability to generate charges with an affix on it. And you do the same DPS a little bit more with just a base Silver Flask. Granite Flask is good. Your Flicker Strike, you don't need a Quicksilver Flask. The amount of time that you actually spend moving in this game as Flicker Strike is non-existent. So, run a Tincture instead. You can get a cheap Tincture like this. Oh, here's the 101 class on, oh shit, I want to use POB, but I don't know what I'm doing. And this is really easy. You open up the Flicker Strike POB. You go up here and you click New. No. Welcome back. So, you open up the spreadsheet, you come up here, and you click New Loadout. You can call it whatever you want. Just name it something. Select that loadout. Right here. And then go to Import. Type in your name. Make sure this is empty and you're on the right loadout. Then import it, and it'll pull it into this tree. So it'll pull it into this POB. Now, go to the configuration screen and just select the configuration that is most appropriate for your gear. So for you, like early budget. You can kick off these extra resistances here. And then now this will give you your DPS relative to that budget. You want to make sure that it imported the tree correctly. It's bad with cluster jewels down here sometimes. And then you want to tick on any flasks that you have that you're using. And so what you need to do is Sorrow Divine for silver, and then Quicksilver for a cheap tincture or an expensive tincture. I don't care which one, but pick one. And the reason I say this is so you're 2 million DPS right now, 10k max Fizz hit, 17k max Ellie hit. This is a good solid base for the character. But right now you're struggling on single target bosses and really big tanky rares. And so all you do is when you see that single target boss or the big tanky rare, we just turn on the tincture and then we do 50% more DPS with a cheap tincture and 25% more with a cheap tincture and 50% more with a good tincture. Ashbark tincture of catalyzing, concentrated. I use prismatic tinctures of ease or mastery, something with attack speed on it, but you can use whatever you want. Yeah, the 6% Ellie pin is nice, but I think the attack speed is better value. But either one works. But yeah, use a tincture on those. Now, if you want to use tinctures, you're going to need to take Blood-Soaked Blade, because your mana reservation isn't really high enough to support much. Like, you've only got like 3 seconds of a tincture on here. And so you can put 1 point in Blood-Soaked Blade, and your tinctures will now cost life instead of mana, which means that we can really burn through like 20-30 seconds of a tincture before we even start taking damage, because our life regen is so high. That's Blood-Soaked Blade right here. Now you got to remember to turn it off, otherwise you'll splat after the fight's over and you've got nothing left to leech on. So it's a little annoying, it takes some time to get used to, but God, 20 seconds of double DPS in some situations is definitely worth it. Rebuke of the Vile is good. You need a new shield, but the shield is okay. Helmet is good. Oh yeah, you definitely. Oh yeah, you definitely need to do your next lab. This is the first node you're supposed to take. Naughty. This is number 1. This is number 2. This is 3. This is 4. Yeah, the leeches, the entire character is based around this node. The whole character. Yeah, the whole character is based around this node. You'll feel much better on it with Brutal Fervor. See, going for DPS is always the trap. But no, you're doing good. Everything looks good. And obviously we just need more levels. You need your ascendancy. Your biggest upgrades are going to be like a shield. Like a really good shield is your biggest upgrade. I'll give you an example. So we go and we look at a shield like this. We slam this into the build. That is a 15% flat damage increase getting to a good shield. And you pick up a ton of spell suppression. You pick up avoid ailments. You pick up more life. Good shield is a big upgrade for you. So for resistances, this ring should only be resistances. You want life, and then you craft on the elemental attack skills, but your other 3 should be resistances. And you've got way too much strength right now. So getting a good res ring will make a big difference here. Getting a good taming is good too. Your taming is 20% to all LE reses. You can get one with 30%. And you can re-roll the range on it to 10. So you're missing 12% to all LE reses off of your taming. And you can even catalyze it for more LE reses if you really needed to. But once you get a yoke, that'll help out with resistances too. Yoke is more res than Carnage Heart is. And then Wraeclast is more resistances, more useful resistances than Dark Rays. Not really. Most of the stuff you're just going to trade for. Crafting is something that once you understand what gear you need and how you can get access to it on trade, and you're an expert at the game, then you start looking into more crafting. 7 div. You can get a good shield for 2 div. You can get a great shield for 5 div. And you can get a good ring for 2 div and a great ring for 5 div. So I mean, you've got currency for very respectable upgrades. Yo, Sneaky, this is looking good. I don't know what this elusive old lightning res math nonsense is, but this is looking good. I assume that's a node on the tree. Yeah. Yeah. Yep, 35 mil DPS. This claw is carrying you. This is a nasty claw. Yep. This is a nasty claw. This ooh, very nice. Yeah. That's good. It's a nasty claw. This so Sneaky. The 6% chance to melee hits to fortify is not keeping your fortify up. You gotta buy bigger Eldritch and roll for it. Because I imagine, like, your DPS is great, but I imagine that's like at least 10. Because you got 7.62 attacks per second. And so at 10, you're at basically a 76% chance to fortify. And I think the base is 4 seconds, yeah, so. That gets you 5 stacks consistently. So we got 7.62 attacks per second times 4. Times 0.1 plus 1 base second. Yeah, so. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the only time that you really care about it. Like, do you really care about your fortification when there's like a bunch of squishy stuff? Nah. Just versus bosses, yeah. And the higher you can get it, the better. But 6%, like at 7.62 attacks per second times 0.06 times 4 seconds plus 1 means that versus bosses, you're averaging 2 stacks of fortification. Now, duration refreshes, so you can still get up to max, but that means there's 20 stacks of fort. So 20 divided by 2.8 means that it takes you 7 seconds to ramp up on a boss if RNG is in your favor. Whereas if you had 10%, you would basically double that. I mean, that's all right, but I don't think anyone's going to buy that, really. I mean, it'll probably sell for a few C. That's what you're looking for, yes, but it needs to be 35% increased effect with a higher roll on the base, on the implicit. Although, I imagine we can re-roll that implicit with Blessed Orbs. But yeah, that's what you're looking for, just higher tiers. Yeah, the melee damage penetrates is good too. But the melee damage penetrates does not, it only increases your damage. It doesn't increase your survivability, whereas the attack speed massively increases your survivability. So like with this one, you're at 45 mil proj damage, and with an attack speed tincture, you're at 41 mil damage, but now you have 2 additional attacks per second, which is 80 additional life per second from life on hit, probably closer to 100, 120, and it's more fortify, and it's more procs, and so on and so forth. So, like, the Ellie pin is a little more damage, but the attack speed is better quality of life with very, very good damage. Chicken. I'll give you a search for the shield here. Oh, wrong. I don't know why I went to Twitch. So on the shield, you want so first off, you want at least 40% block. And I'll give you this. I'll give you this this link. You want at least 40% block, and then you want to empty prefix, or can we do ors? We can do a count here. So we want an empty prefix, or we want per block per chance. Hold on, I gotta look at the verbiage here. Per percent. Come on, chance to block. Okay, chat is like all up on my filter. I can't read it. For 1% chance of like. So you need one of those, and then you need attack speed. We can just do we can do a count here as well. You want attack speed, spell suppression, attack speed, spell suppression, and avoid elemental ailment. You need 2 of those. So this is the shield you're looking for. So like there. Oh, sorry, I lied. We also need max life. Yeah, I know that chicken, but wait, it takes whatever words you type. Oh, I'll have to try that sometime. All right, so this is what you're looking at, and then of course you want the most that you can get from all of these. So attack speed, suppression, max life, avoid elemental elements. Oh god, fucking that is in the wrong place. Get over here so I can read. Attack speed, suppression, avoid elements, and we want the highest weight on that. We search, we sort by weight, and there is your search. And so the one at the top is reasonably good, but it's crafted attack speed, so we can't finish crafting on it. We probably want to, like, this one is okay. We can suffix slam this and get our block chance on it, but it's missing. So we don't want crafted. We don't. This one's not good because it has its crafted attack speed. We would want base attack speed and craft on spell suppression. This one is good because we can just slam this with the Crusader, but you're missing the spell suppression because it has lightning res here. This one is good, but we're missing. Oh, let's change the count on that. And one. It's got to have one or one of these. We really want 3 of these with empty suffix. We could search for it like that. That's probably better. Now we're going to get some better options here. Like this is good. He's AFK. You could craft on that. This one was one that I have listed. Anything I have listed, I'll sell it to y'all at a huge discount. This is flawless. It's a good base. It's got attack speed, avoid elements, block attack damage, and chance to suppress. This one is 5 div. This is a good crafting base. You can make this good for 7 div. This one has the crafted attack speed. That's not ideal. To do this, crafted modifier is 0. Does this work? This should work. Nope, it doesn't like that. There's only 5 shields to sort through on this. So there's 5 shields here that are good that fit this. And so I've got 3 of them listed, of course. There's this one that this guy's AFK. That's a good crafting base. It's just low chance to avoid ailments, but it's overall a good crafting base. Obviously, the ones I have listed are good. This guy's got this one is 5 div as a good crafting base. So those are the shields that you're looking for. How much the high budget Flicker Strike is appropriately. So the answer to that question, Hutter, is it's not possible right now, I don't think. Because the precursor rings are not out there. But you can build close to the high budget Flicker Strike. So here, we'll look at it this way. So you can build Flicker Strike video is on my YouTube channel. Yeah. One large credit card would not get it because this ring doesn't exist. No one has found a ring like this yet. That's the problem. But look, so here's what we do. We pretend like this ring doesn't exist, and we're at 42 million DPS with 2 ring slots open. All right? So we trade for a ring. We find the best ring that we can get. We don't care about effective health pool. And we just find the best ring that exists out there for this build. Because that ring does not exist. And then so we look at rings that do exist. How is this one the best one? Yo, you have no... Yeah, this is good. This one is good. But could we get that on implicit too? Are you not taking into consideration implicits? No, we are. We have an implicit hold to frenzy? No, we don't. All right, well, I tried to give POB a chance to find a good ring, and it found some mediocre ring. I mean, sometimes it's good. Well, like, so we grab this one, for example. It says that this is the best ring out there, right? So we grab this ring, we slam this ring into the spreadsheet, and we gain a grand total of 14 million DPS, right? Or instead, we slam a 48% taming in here, and we go to 71 million DPS. So, you know, the spreadsheet's not always great. But we'll look for alternative rings the old-fashioned way, which is just magically know everything about the game. And so, per frenzy charge, we can get cold damage per frenzy charge on a ring. We can also get an implicit cold damage per frenzy charge on a ring. And then so, now we're not running all of these synth mods. Oh, and so, we need maximum frenzy charge on a ring. And this could only appear in an implicit on a ring. So this is the ring that we want. And there's a mirror for one there, 530 div for one there, 2 mirror here, 3.5 mirror here. So, this is what we want. Now, if we can't have that one, how do we get to input? This should be that. So there's these 2 rings here. So obviously we can't have those. We can kick off an implicit. We can just get cold damage per frenzy charge on the ring. This is going to open up to 3 search results. So we get these 3 rings as an option. None of those are going to work. And so now we're down to maximum frenzy charges only. Now there's going to be a lot of these out here. But we're going to start wanting to weight these rings with LE damage to attacks. So lightning damage to attacks, cold damage to attacks, fire damage to attacks. In fact, I don't even know why I did that. And we can just do LE damage to attacks. And then we need to attack skills. We need elemental damage with attack skills. And then maybe attack speed on a ring. These are some common rolls. And I'm sure attack speed is weighted way higher. So we search for a ring like this, and then we sort by our sum here. And then we actually type in the word ring here. And then we sort by our sum. And so we get some of these rings. And obviously the mirrors, the divine orbs, the mirrors at the top. We go down, here's an 18 divine circle of regret. Are we using Herald of Thunder? No. But could we use this ring? Fuck yeah, we could. And so is that circle of regret better than the taming? Not really. So none of these max frenzy charge rings out here work as a big benefit to us. But, and here's the big brain move, is you buy every taming ring you can get your hands on that is not corrupted. Because we're looking for maximum frenzy charges on the implicit. And one doesn't exist right now. But yeah, we vol all of them. Because this is the budget, high budget ring. Oh, we can't get max frenzy charges on a taming? Why not? Is it? I'm super confused now. Is it too low eye level or something? Is there an eye level requirement for this? Apparently we can't get max frenzy charges on a prismatic ring? I didn't know that. Oh, it has to be an influenced ring. Yeah, it has to be an influenced ring for the maximum frenzy charges. Okay, I knew that. I just forgot about it. So I mean, without a tremendous amount of research, a 48% taming ring is your best. And I mean, you can still corrupt a 48% taming ring. You would corrupt it with attack speed, like this one, in determination, potentially. Everything else in here is attainable. For Genesis is attainable. We're not even including a crazy tincture. This is just a good tincture. All of this is reasonable. This Watcher's Eye. Oh, yeah, that's a good ring. That's a good ring. Yeah, that's a good ring. Do you have that ring? $8 million. It's 10% more DPS than it's aiming. Oh, it's on standard. Yeah, something like that is good. But it's only 10% more DPS than a really solid taming. And I mean, you can get two 48% tamings for cheaper than just one Philandra's Touch. Oh yeah, Hutter. You can easily hit 70 million DPS on the high budget Flicker Strike with 350 div. Your biggest investment is going to be the sword. You could also use a claw. Like if you don't want to craft it, you could use a claw and buy one. If you want to use a sword, you'll have to craft it. But you'll have to find accuracy somewhere else if you use a claw. If you wanted to play a squish, like a non-shield version, you could also just do a two-handed version of the build. I don't promote those typically because I like tanky, but I mean like a Void Forge with 15% increased physical modifiers. And then we had to change over all the other things. But I mean, you could do a big Void Forge. That would be an option. Yeah, Point. What is your account name? Wraeclast. We're in an early budget. I don't see a shield here. This is definitely not a shield. This is most certainly not a shield. So right now you're at 3 mil DPS. With Azuri's Promise and Taste of Hate and Lion's Roar and your Diamond Flask, you're at 4 mil DPS. With everything rolling. Now, if you wanted to switch over to my build, the first thing you would do is fix your... What is taking up my... There we go. All right. So if you wanted to switch over to my build, the first thing you would do is come in and change your tree over to my tree. You're level 92, so you would switch to our early budget tree, which is budgeted for level 92, so you're golden there. That's the first thing you do is you switch to this tree. The second thing you do is you switch over to the early budget skill set. So we're over to the early budget skill set. And then the first thing you buy is a Rebuke of the Vol Blade. The next thing you buy is a Reasonable Shield. And you go from 4 million DPS to 2.5 million DPS. But you go from 8k max fizz hit to 13k. You go from 20k effective health pool to 100k effective health pool. And you pick up 65% block chance, 61% spell block chance, and 81% spell suppression. And that's the only thing you're doing is respecking and getting skills. This helm is Why would you craft suffixes cannot be changed on this? You've got the 2 prefixes that you would want on it. This is just a good helm. Oh, what should you do next? Okay, well, we can take a look. So here's what I would do with that helm. First, I would check to see what we can do with exalted orbs. That is always my go-to. Oh, point here. I'll share this to you, but I didn't change anything really obvious here. But this will get you over. You'll do about 70. You'll do about, and what is 4 divided by 2.5? So you do about 62% of the damage. So this is about a 30% loss in damage for you, but it's a very cheap switch, and then you can make up that damage just by getting like a mid-budget Corsair sword, and then you're doing the same damage as you were doing before. And so this mid-budget Corsair sword is probably going to cost you between 1 to 2 div. So if you pick up a mid-budget Corsair sword, you're immediately going to be at the damage you were before with all of the defenses. And then there's other things we can do to fix that, but once you get to that point, we can relook at everything. Insult, emulator, import item, paste here, import. Good base. Now, does... Oh, we don't want to influence slam this, though, because then we lose our implicits. You have T1 Chaos Res and T1 Life, and T1 Armor Evasion and Stun and Block Recovery, and T3 Spell Suppression. How can I put gems in all the gear? Zayad, I don't understand that question at all. Maybe someone can enlighten me. I don't know what you mean. It doesn't matter. So I think I understand what you're asking. I don't put where they go in here because it doesn't matter. You need a 6-link item for this link, and so this is obviously going to be your body armor, because your body armor is the only place that you can get a 6-link on. But where you put the rest of these gems is completely irrelevant. You can stick them wherever you want. Psi, you can craft res, you can bench craft res on it. So here's what I would do with that helm. I would bench craft a resistance on there that is useful to you. So maybe you need more chaos res and you don't need other res. You can bench craft on chaos cold. Yeah, less duration goes into the glove on aspect of the cat. But that's on the spreadsheet and in the video. Make sure you watch the video for that if you don't understand it. So I would benchcraft on some resistance that's useful, and then I would just like freaking regular old Exalt Slam this thing and then pray. Like Exalt Slam, and then we got shitty armor and evasion. Unforge. You could Exalt Slam again, you get Reflect, Unforge. You can Exalt Slam again, you get more shitty armor and evasion. Like, there's just not much to add to this. Like, this one would be good. It's T3 armor plus max life. That would be amazing. This one would be amazing. T3 armor and evasion. Your Exalt Slams, you just like... You slam and pray. Like, you can't undo them. I'm just doing that in the emulator to show you what your options are. Like, this is T1 armor and evasion. That would be amazing. But it's a good helm. It's a really good helm, but there's no way to craft on this to improve it significantly. It's just a great helm to start with. Yeah, that's a pointless conversation when the mic is muted. So on Lightning Strike, you've got a few ways to generate frenzy charges. The first most obvious one is right here on kill. You have frenzy charges on kill. The second obvious one is with Blood Rage. We have Blood Rage gives us frenzy charges again on kill. The next one is with Ice Bite. You can run Ice Bite, which gives you a frenzy charge chance when you kill a frozen enemy. And the last one that we use versus bosses is on Mark Mastery up here. So bosses and rares, you have a 10% chance to gain a frenzy charge when you hit a marked enemy. Theo, you would re-anoint your gem to have Disciple of the Unyielding on it. That's what you would do. Or you can re-anoint your gem to have Circle of Life on it, which is what we have on this mid-budget guide, or you can re-anoint for excess sustenance. Oh yeah, Strange. A lot of money to be made from selling T17s. A lot of money to be made from selling T17s. Herakro, what do you want to do? Do you want to increase your damage, or do you want to increase your defensibility? What do you mean, Hutter? Is Fervor worth it in what sense? Like, should you take Fervor? Absolutely. It's the frenzy charges are kind of the central point of the build. Well, he already has Frenetic, he already has Fervor. They're part of the build. The Heist one-handed sword base is a trap because it converts all your damage to elemental damage, which means you cannot bleed, which means you cannot use bleeding mastery, which means you lose 160% chance to crit, 175% chance to crit, 190% chance to crit, and 30% crit multi. So it's a trap. There's no way for you to inflict a bleed if all your damage is converted to Ellie. Rocco, you're just going to have to play and figure out what's more important to you. Like, if you're dying a lot, it's time to upgrade defenses. If stuff is taking too long to kill, it's time to upgrade offensive. It just kind of depends on where you are in the game. There's no way to know without just playing and getting a feel for it. And Strange, I sell all of my T17 maps, not because I can't run them, but because the time investment for running them and the return on that is not worth it versus me just farming T16 maps. Speaking of farming T16 maps, let's do a little silo-y map. A Reflect Ellie, we can do on Bleed. I can do all these Reflect Ellie on Bleeds. Oh yeah, easy. Super easy. Think of all the 1C uniques. They're so... All the 1C uniques are very critical. Okay, nearby enemies gain 200% as chaos. I mean, unique items dropped is garbage. I don't care about unique items dropped. Yeah, Theo, you'll need to go to the video and download the latest update to POB. That stuff was all removed a couple days ago. Make sure you have the newest version of the spreadsheet. Soul Eater guy needs some punctures in him. Garbage. Although, I mean, we can pick up maybe some Eldritch Orbs here. $1,200 cast damage per flask. I'll take that all day long. Take Curses Inflict. Chicken Biscuit, thank you very much for the follow. This is our Bleed Bow build that we're going to post on later today. It's a fun one. I'm just not a fan of bow builds in general, personally. But we got some requests for it, and we make it, and it works good. Player gains 118% for scarabs and div cards. No, thank you. What a garbage altar. Another fortress map. We like those. Are you gonna die? All garbage, I'm sure. But we like the chaoses. We'll take the extra fizz of fire for those droppies. You're phased. Get out of here. Stop with the cheating shenanigans. For a few jewelers orbs, yeah, fuck. Well, no, that's 100%. So if it's a jeweler orb reward, that's not 100% for enemies. That's just for the influenced mobs. And so you can do those because it's just the influenced mobs that get that. Bleed bow works. Where is heavy heals? Let's see if he's streaming. He is not on the stream schedule yet. Oh, I should go back and do my harvest. Yeah. The enemies gain damage, like total, like all the enemies gaining elemental damage as fizz damage doesn't have like jeweler's orb rewards. Usually it's quantity rewards. Sorry, it might be sometimes, but like oh, I should have done this one where the boss drops more eldritch embers. Oops. A good helm. There's a good roll. Rarity drop is nice. Better than a lot of the alternatives. Why is this guy not taking any damage whatsoever? So confused. These little assholes are a problem. Like something about their hitbox doesn't work well with puncture. I have to move around to hit him. I gotta get a switch figure at min low, mid budget, but I need to farm link color sockets and I can respec. Oh, very nice. Don't worry too much about the color of the sockets. There are a lot of supports that you can use that all work. You don't have to have the perfect colors. Like, if you got an extra green, you can use an Ice Bite. If you got an extra blue, you can use an Immolate. You can use an increased crit damage. If you're crit build, you can use an Immolate if you're precise technique. There's a lot of flexibility on the colors. But yeah, you need a 6-link. It costs 1 div to 6-link anything. If you have 1 div to spend, you can 6-link anything. I use Filter Blade's loot filter. So go to the Filter Blade website and use one of those. I don't have like a class specific loot filter, no. Although that's not a bad idea as a project to do at some point. It's just so rare for you to actually find useful shit on the ground. Yep. 1 div can 6-link anything. I can help out with that if you need help, because you need someone to come with you to kill the guy. I'm so glad I can run all these Ellie Reflex silos now. That's nice. I'm not going to run that monster cannot be leeched. We can smoke the Ellie Reflect. If you're farming T10s, make sure you're running an Essence map. Essences are great farm at low tiers. Oh yeah. Yeah, there's a very low barrier to entry on Flicker Strike. Ooh, no, Theo, I don't think you had mine originally. I never used Abyssus. And so this is what but my Flicker Strike never used Abyssus. And I do use the crit bleed nodes on the mid budget. On the early budget, we're not crit. So on the mid budget, there's crit. But we never use Abyssus. Abyssus is basically like asking to die on every map. Doubling, influencing, escalations. I need multitude and corruption. Or just multitude. I just need corruption. Yeah, chicken. Nah, Theo, you're good. That's not an idiot. That's a common mistake. That's why I went and showed you. Oh yeah. What? Link me the boots. We can do that. Link me the boots. I mean, there's probably nothing we can really do to him, but I'll look at him. So the thing on these boots is, yeah, it's got one open prefix, but the thing on these boots is you need Eater and Searing Exarch. So you can't target craft these with Conqueror orbs. So really, your only option on these boots is just going to be to exalt them at random and hope and pray for something good. Unless you wanted to very expensively craft on these boots. There's no cheap crafting on these boots. Viking, I have a leveling video and a leveling guide for you, and I would recommend Spectral Throw. Yeah, so hold on, let me get this for Viking real quick. That's the leveling guide and video and information, Viking. And if you have a few casts sitting around, make sure you grab some leveling uniques. If you don't, I'll give you some casts for that. Yeah, so Dustin, so on these boots, you've got two options. Your first option is going to be slam this with more essences and hope to get better rolls. Because it doesn't have amazing rolls, but it doesn't have bad rolls. That's your first option. The second option is to very expensively craft on this, but there's a T4 spell suppression and a T2 lightning resist are not worth dumping 2 div per craft trying to get better prefixes, of which you only have 2 of them. So what I would do with these boots, so the max life prefix is great. I would essence slam this with avoid ailments until you hit a T1 spell suppress and something else useful. They're good boots. But you need chaos res on these boots. So I would essence slam this until you had suppress and chaos res. And then hopefully it's got a prefix with move speed. If it doesn't, you can craft move speed on there. If it doesn't have a slot for move speed, you can annul and then craft move speed. And if it breaks the annul, then you essence slam it again. Deafening essence of loathing? No. What's the essence for avoid ailments? Yeah. Deafening essence of loathing. This one. This one guarantees avoid ailments on it. They are 3 chaos apiece. So you buy 50 of them with a div. And then you slam it until you get a T1 suppress or a T2 suppress with chaos res or something that just looks really good. Deafening essence of loathing. If you wanted to run it cheap and you didn't need that much elemental avoidance, you can run a shrieking essence of loathing. They're 1 cast piece. Oh, Surmander, that's that Vol Pact Lightning Strike Slayer. And that's kind of abusing a bug right now with... Oh, no, wait. Oh, this is just this Heat Shiver version. Yeah, this is different. Vol Pact... Vol Lightning Strike is just a fancy ability that you're only going to use on bosses, and a tincture. Well, this build is just going to die easy. It doesn't have any defenses. Yeah, this build is just you die easy. It has no defenses. Yeah. I mean, that's the problem with most of these builds. Most people put out builds that can't tank. Most people build builds that cannot tank because it's too hard to make a build that's tanky and still be high enough DPS to get people to want to play it. Not bad. No spell suppression though, and no suffix. You could annul that and pray for the stun and block recovery. Yeah. Yeah, PoE, like it's hard to make tanky builds that also have good DPS. If you annulled that, you could rip stun and block recovery. And if you do, then you can craft on Chaos Res and Ellie Res, or you can craft on spell suppression, depending on which one you need more. Yeah, that didn't do you any good. I mean, you annulled off a useless thing, but you could annul it again, and if you rip stun and block recovery, you could multi-mod craft it. But yeah, I would just slam it. The slams are so cheap. All right, we're making a chaos build today. We're making a poison build today, so I need to work on that too. What scrabs are you using? Map farming build, Curate? Yeah, this is just a good solid starter map farming build with essences. I like that. It's a good choice. Just run some 1C map scrabs on it. Although at T10, that's probably